regionals that we had described before. So he, though, is going up against one of the better Terran players that's out there right now. The K3 Esports Club folks have been producing some very good results, and a lot of it was spearheaded by this guy, LucifroN, an extremely good Terran player, one of the very best foreign Terran players in the entire world. And he, along with his brother Vortex, have kind of been just tearing up the international scene, not just Europe. Yep,
LucifroN is one of those classic examples of a Warcraft 3 player that's transferred over to StarCraft 2 and done really well. He was really, really good at Warcraft 3, and then, you know, once StarCraft 2 came out, the question kind of was, okay, are these Brood War players going to have the advantage in StarCraft 2 because a lot of the mechanics are different, or are the Warcraft 3 players going to stand a better chance just because the mechanics are a little bit closer with you know, some of the more automatic things in this game, like auto mining and multiple building selection and stuff like that. Brood War didn't have, and Warcraft 3 did have a lot of that stuff. So yeah, the transition was very interesting to see early on, and LucifroN actually was kind of just waiting a long time. He didn't have amazing results the first year and a half that StarCraft 2 was actually released. He just kind of started kicking a lot of butt recently in the last 6 months or so, and has really kind of resurfaced as a name to mention whenever you talk about the best Terran players outside of Korea.
You know, the brothers Moreno Duran were students as well. You know, I mean, they didn't have the most time. And it was one of those things where they had done well, but when they really dedicated themselves, and it was basically over this past summer, essentially, is when the transformation happened. When they dedicated themselves basically full time to StarCraft 2 and really started getting in the practice that they wanted, they started blowing up, and now the scene is, you know, I mean, they're pretty much in the minds of everyone, and I feel kind of honored to be, you know, obviously K3 upset a lot of teams in Team Arena Challenge 3, the league that we had prior to the IPTL. And it was kind of cool to see that transformation happen right in front of everyone's eyes of how good they actually were. So,
and that's why it had an open component too. And we saw K3 Esports Club. All right, what is that? Who cares? Let's let them, you know, let them play. And they just bopped a ton of well-established teams on the way up.
8 Lings coming out for Snute now as he wants to put on a bit of pressure while going for a 4-queen build at the same time. Now, he is sacrificing a couple of drones to get this done. LucifroN decided to go for a very early first gas after the command center first barracks was up, put his second one up just a little bit afterwards. So he has a lot of flexibility in his build, but he's only got 1 Marine out right now to try and defend this, and 8 Lings can cause quite a bit of problems.
That's right. We'll see if he's going to have any possibility of holding this when Snute arrives at his natural. Not a single bunker down, really not. I'm not sure what's up at the top of the ramp. He doesn't even have it fully walled off. There's not a second depot there to be able to hold these Lings out if he tries to gun it straight into the main. I don't know if he's even going to check it because usually it is walled off and he has a chance to kill some SCVs here already.
Yeah, 3, 4 SCVs have fallen, actually getting up to 5 now. So these 8 Lings have really proven themselves to be worth it. Looks like LucifroN will pick off all but one of the Zerglings, and the SCV should actually be able to take care of the last one. It looks like it will. Oh, Zergling getting out of there and just being a little bit annoying. But good job by Snute to get in and do some early damage.
Yeah, that was great. And if he had any kind of follow-up there, it might have even done a lot more with that opening at the top of the ramp. But he didn't even bother checking up there. Took the easy value that he had when he arrived, and Starport coming up now for LucifroN is going to put him in a little bit better position to stabilize, as Snute has kind of backed off. He hasn't built any more fighting units since then. He's actually building spine crawlers of his own so that he can take some time to tech up after getting a little bit of an economic advantage right there at the beginning.
Okay, so Snute has 4 queens in total, not building a 5th or anything along those lines, and just going up to a total of 3 gas for now. So he will be able to power ahead into his layer tech in just a bit. His first 100 gas is coming online, though, soon, and we'll see if he allocates that towards Zergling speed or just wants to go up to faster layer.
All right. If well, there's the layer. Speak of the devil, we've got a cloak upgrade actually coming for LucifroN. Banshees are going to be the unit of choice, as we kind of expected as this build started out. But
well, it's really when it's LucifroN playing, Hellions are always the unit of choice.
Yeah, that's true. And well, he only built 4. Now he's getting cloaked Banshees rolling, and we'll see. Okay, there's 2 more in production queue. I was wondering about that. You got to keep building units just in case you know, Snute decides to hit the go button and build just a ton of stuff at one time. You got to continually build units as Terran to be able to keep up with that if it happens. And a Roach Warren for Snute is finishing right now, so we could see a wave of roaches here soon. He's got a lot of gas to work with, but not a lot of minerals at the moment. He still hasn't taken a third base.
Snute knows his opponent pretty well. I mean, this is perfect anti-Hellion defense. Of course, he's going to tech up on 2 bases, while a lot of Zerg players have been favoring that. I should say less bases, more tech, and less of a swarm-style approach, although, you know, Hyun keeps killing people with the swarm-style approach, so who knows. First Banshee's flying out is going to have Cloak here momentarily, but the Spore Crawlers are already on the way. But yeah, like I said before, LucifroN, if you can't make Hellions, he's not happy, and that's where he tends to do a lot of his damage.
Yeah, if he gets in here and can actually catch some drones unaware. I see Spore Crawlers actually morphing right now. So the Banshees might not have the greatest opportunity to get in there and do some damage, but at least he can keep them around as DPS a little bit later on in case he does get a big bio push, or even these Hellions in here to try and do some damage at the front. The Banshees are going to do a lot of DPS. All they have to do really is stay out of range of those queens and try and pick at the soft spots for a while, but the Hellions are going to back off, so is the Banshee, and he's still just you know, sending out 1 or 2 powerful units at a time rather than going for a mass strategy at the moment. Snute is building 7 more roaches at a time. He's already got a handful out, but the Spire really is the tech that looks like he wants to get started on for any kind of offense.
Now, LucifroN, what he has going for him, though, is that even after taking the damage at the beginning, he's been able to kind of freely expand. His opponent is just gearing up for, you know, a little bit of a push here in a bit. But LucifroN, he's finishing up his 3rd command center, to be able to saturate these bases very quickly. He's already on 43 workers altogether. The Banshees already doing a nice job to chase down these roaches, and it looks like they've killed 2 of them, 3 of them now.
Yeah, they're hovering along very expertly. They did actually manage to slip away there from him, but these roaches will stand up for quite a while against those Hellions. SCVs repairing up. Really, you know, Snute can do a good job here of just killing SCVs. The fact that the Banshee DPS is very high, though, means that he can't stick around forever, and he does go ahead and retreat back home. 51 drones for Snute, 43 SCVs for LucifroN. Still pretty equitable with those mules. We've got 6 Mutalisks starting now, soon to be 7. There you go. Once the gas is going to, you know, be his limitation. Building all those Mutalisks, he is actually adding on another base now so that he can take 2 more gas and keep that production up.
And 9 workers in total have been killed so far. So, you know, Snute has done a decent job of keeping that worker count low, but he himself has cut a significant portion of his workers, only now adding on a macro hatch and a 3rd base and powering up with more drones. He was on 46 at the time when his opponent was on actually 43. So, LucifroN, albeit losing a few workers, has been able to keep his macro quite good and keep powering up in workers altogether. So, Snute now, he's got his first few Mutalisks running across the map at the same time that he's taking damage from Banshees, and LucifroN needs to get this missile turret up in a hurry.
They're actually, yeah, trading right now. The Banshee's trying to get as many workers killed as they can, focusing down the Queen, and Snute is not moving that Spore Crawler over, instead sending in the 3 Queens from the wall up earlier. He's going to finish off one of those Banshees, the other one still with double-digit kills. These Mutalisks are not having a great time against you know, the turret and marine coverage here, but they are still finding some of those soft spots. The Banshees have been dealt with for the time being, and those Queens can stick around for base defense. 5 more Mutalisks coming in for Snute. I wonder when he's going to stop with that, or if he's just going to keep swarming with them.
Very slap-down, drag-out fight between these guys so far. It's just been kind of trading blows right now rather than big coordinated fights, and I like that. I mean, I think that's a fun brand to play. I think it's something that you know, has been lacking a little bit in the game lately, because a lot of players have just been build up, big army, go. And, oh, well, you won the fight, so I guess you win the game kind of deal. So this is a little bit more entertaining, and looks like the Mutalisk trying to swing in one more time. Marines immediately stem up, and they almost pick off the Mutalisk, but they do effectively ward them away, and LucifroN with the supply depot wall and a siege tank is able to easily hold it off.
Yeah, protecting that tank was a great move for LucifroN to be able to keep the front line sort of backed off. He could not keep attacking into those depots with SCVs repairing and siege tank fire, so the fact that he's able to defend it quickly enough against the Mutalisks was really good for him. 16 drones about to finish right now for Snute. That'll put him pretty far ahead economically. He's working on a 4th base right now, and LucifroN still has not moved over that command center to his own 3rd. Taking out the Overlord is going to give him about a 1-minute delay before he can actually drop another base there, so Snute should be taking advantage in the income tab very, very soon. He's got Baneling Nest coming up as well. Upgrades are still rolling. It looks like Zergling Speed +1 weapons and +2 armor are all on the way. 6 Overlords means that he's clearing a bunch of cap space for something. He does have a chance to actually make just a ton of roaches if he wants to. Now he is actually going to stick with 6 more Mutalisks.
Yeah, his opponent, though, has a lot of mobile anti-air, so it's going to be a little more difficult to pull this off than against, say, Mech. Yeah, I mean, the Baneling Nest is only just now coming up, like you said, so, I mean, he doesn't have a lot of opportunity to swarm his opponent for now. He kind of has to keep picking away at him, but the last couple of attempts to do so have been relatively unsuccessful. He may force a cancel on this command center. LucifroN is making his way back with a few Stim Marines, though, and it looks like he will be able to drive away those Mutas.
Yep, he can try to stay active with them, keep LucifroN from being able to form up a big enough army to try and roll through the middle of the map. 6 more Mutas are coming in for Snute, so it looks like that is just going to be his style of choice. Just make as many Mutas as he possibly can, try to overrun, and eventually power through those Marines, or at least just keep running away from them. It looks like he does want to commit to killing those off here after they stimmed up. They really don't have a ton of health left to survive all those glaive worms.
This is really nice position on the high ground, though. Yeah. Snute keeps bouncing back here out of Lucifron's vision, ducking down, pick off turrets, come back up, make sure he avoids the Marines. So really clever stuff, and Snute's executing this pretty well. 38 more lings coming up. He's obviously very slow to his tech, as the infestation pit's only coming up now. He hit his layer tech very quickly in this game off of 2 bases, but subsequent tech has been a bit delayed.
Yep, keeping his Mutalisks clumped like that is going to reduce the chances of turrets actually being able to pick off one at a time. Marines just kind of fire blindly into that pack of Mutas, but with all these lings and Mutas bouncing over to the 3rd, I don't know if LucifroN is actually going to be aware of that. I don't see how he could be. His map presence is very, very small at the moment. He would just have to drop scans to be able to be lucky and catch something. Oh, he is kind of lucky there, catching those Mutalisks before the lings and roaches are in place. Snute building a 5th base behind this, so hopefully he can get some damage in. LucifroN posted up pretty well, though, with those siege tanks.
Yeah, Snute just ran into a meat grinder, unfortunately. And those bio units were able to very easily dispatch of everything that hit on the ground. The siege tank may fall, yes, but with it, Mutalisk goes down, all the Zerglings fall, and that was exactly the kind of victory that that LucifroN needed. And now he's sitting pretty comfortably on 4 bases.
Whoa.
Yes, there are 84 lings that are in production right now, but only 1 siege tank fell. That's still a lot of bio units left.
That's right, but now because LucifroN has the bulk of his force over that 3rd base, 84 lings could potentially do some huge damage to the natural. Can we just look at it as natural wall off? What is it actually? Just a couple of depots and turrets. Those rocks could actually be pretty easy to take out. We'll see if he wants to try and do that rather than take on this, planetary fortress that's getting built now at the 4th. It seems a little bit hopeless. Maybe if he gets enough Banelings, it won't be so hopeless, but still with that many siege tanks posted up, they could blast them down very quickly. Actually, LucifroN's force is leaving right now, headed toward that Xel'Naga tower. I'm not sure why, because the moment he lets up, Snute takes huge advantage. All these lings running in. Look at the 4th base getting swarmed by those Mutas. LucifroN's troop movement there may have just cost him a huge advantage in this game.
Yeah, it did. His opponent does have a lot of resources banked up, so he can make another big round of lings, and he is. Another 48 coming up after that. LucifroN still has a very strong standing army, though, and if he can get in there and try and do some damage and pick off a couple of bases himself, he'll be in a lot better spot. But for now, losing that 4th base is a big deal.
Okay, so Snute not losing so much as he is establishing a different 5th base down in the very bottom right corner. The tanks are posting up now, but look at that. Right as the Banelings arrive, Muta's trying to take advantage of these undefended tanks while the Marines fire on the Zerglings and Banelings. He does kill a couple of them. He's just going to manage to stay ahead in supply, but LucifroN continually moving forward. There's going to be opportunities for Snute to try and pick off those tanks before they're sieged up. That 1 Spinecrawler falls very quickly. It's still a pretty tight choke that we see there, but now the evolution chambers are down. These couple of Mutalisks came, just a bad rally it looks like. Oh, Snute, are you really flying all your Mutalisks away from this? You need to get in there and defend this.
Banelings now rolling out, but they're not really with a lot of units. They do take out a few Marines there, but the siege tanks deal with the vast majority of those units. And the Medivacs, while they're out of energy, still provide enough for the Marines' DPS to shine through and pick off those Mutalisks. But now, here come the rest of the units. He's finally trapping everything of LucifroN's in the middle, and LucifroN is finally going to lose that entire Bioforce, but not before doing a little bit of damage in return.
Let's look at the units tab. I'm curious what's actually standing right now. We've got 20 Mutalisks, and dropping quickly to those 52 remaining Marines for LucifroN. That actually, that's quite a lot of Marines, and with the bulk of Snute's force being wrapped up in Mutas and Lings, I'm not sure what he's going to be able to do. He does need a lot more Baneling production, as those were the only thing that let him defend that first push.
LucifroN has this ridiculous ability to always have a little bit more than you think he should at any given point in time. Like, he obviously, he was producing back at home while that whole fight was going on, but man, this force is still quite large of his that's making its way out. It just took out the 4th base, and it's probably going to take out the 3rd.
Yeah, and Snute is trying to counterattack, but it doesn't look like he's able to, with a ton of Marines actually still standing back at home. So LucifroN, with a very difficult to deal with force down in Snute's side of the map, also has a huge contingent of Marines backed against the wall to prevent that surface area from the Lings. Mutas are falling very, very quickly, and Snute cannot deal with this 2-part army of LucifroN. GG's out, and LucifroN takes game 1 in this Best of 3 series.
That was a really cool game. I actually really enjoyed that one, because like I said, at the beginning, it started with a lot of back